Your Honor, just testing my video and audio. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Your Honor. I sent you an email, which you probably didn't see. Can you hear me?
I can.
Afton Hauer either didn't get the invitation or did not save it, and I can't forward it to her. Would you be able to
Okay.
send her an invitation?
I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Morning, Judge.
Morning, sir.
That's good. Thanks.
Is this everyone who's joining us today?
I think we're just waiting on my witness, Mr.
Okay.
Effingham.
Okay. I'm sure you probably be able to answer the questions. They're pretty
Okay.
general, just a couple, but I'm happy to wait for him as well.
I'll text him right now, and if you want to get started,
No,
Judge.
we can wait. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It'll give some time for OPC to play around with their new toy because they have a camera or something.
Well, yeah, I don't think Joe's in a big enough conference room.
Yeah, this is our quote large conference room. We have a small one with no windows.
Oh.
This is the bigger one. Yeah, we have a tripod here. It's a sweet setup.
Judge, Matt Evergam said he may have to call in. I'm just going to tell him to go ahead, call in.
Okay. If you want to try and field the questions, you can. Again, they're just more clarifications than anything. I don't think it's anything that you can't handle, but if you want Mr. Evergam here just in case, that's fine too.
There's no question. I cannot screw up, Your Honor. So,
All right.
no, Judge, we can get started if you want. He's dialing in, I suppose. But if we're not going to call him, well, I mean, I was going to call him to the stand just to enter his testimony. But do we have to do that?
If everything's stipulated, I think he
Yep.
is there. Mr. Evergraham, are you with us, sir?
Yes, I am here. Sorry, Your Honor. It took me a little
No.
while to get in, little technical difficulties this morning.
There is no apology necessary. All right, hopefully all this virtual hearings will go by the wayside after Labor Day. We'll get back to some semblance of normalcy. All right, why don't we get started? Doug, we all set?
we're on the record, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Chuck McLean. I'm the Chief Public Utility Law Judge at the Maryland Public Service Commission. It's August 13th, 2021, Friday the 13th, unfortunately. We're here in case number 9660 for a settlement hearing, and this case is captioned as Elkton Gas Company's Strategic Infrastructure Development and Enhancement STRIDE application. All right, we can start with appearances, please. Mr. Quinn?
Good morning, Your Honor. Brian Quinn on behalf of the applicant Elkton Gas, and joining me today is our witness, Matthew M. Evergnam.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cleaver?
Good morning, Your Honor. Joseph Cleaver on behalf of the Maryland Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning, sir. And finally, staff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Annette Garofalo and Catherine McCarolyn on behalf of Commission staff.
Good morning. Thank you for the settlement and the supporting testimony, and I understand that no one has any questions. So, Mr. Quinn, you want to kick things off, and we can just you can mark your testimony and anything you want to enter, sir.
Sure, Your Honor. Thank you. Pursuant to your notice of July 30th, Elkton Gas, and the other parties can speak for themselves, Elkton Gas filed its testimony in support of the unanimous stipulation and settlement on August 10th. And it should be in the docket under ML 236520. And it was the testimony in support of our witness, Matthew M. Evergnam, Everngam.
Okay.
And with that, I believe the parties have agreed to stipulate to Mr. Evergnam's testimony, and I'd mark it as Elkton Exhibit number 1, I suppose, and respectfully request to be entered into the record.
All right, we'll mark that as Exhibit 1. Or did we have a notification way back when of the initial hearing? Did we handle that during the pre-hearing conference? Like off the top of my head, I can't recall.
Let me check on that, Your Honor. I don't think we did.
Okay. Okay. All right, we can, if I discover it later, we can fix that. It's not a problem. All right, we'll mark Mr. Evergam's settlement testimony as Elkton Exhibit 1 for identification. Did you want to mark Mr. Evergam's and Mr. Red's testimony and enter those as well, sir?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. The parties have agreed to enter the all direct testimony in the case. So on behalf of Elkton, that would be Mr. Red and Mr. Evergnam's direct testimony that was attached to the application that was filed on March 2nd.
All right, we'll mark the, I'm sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mark. I suppose we'd like to mark that direct testimony with the application of Mr. Red as Elkton Exhibit number 2 and Mr. Evergnam's direct testimony in support of the application as Elkton Exhibit 3.
Okay, they should be so marked. Is that it for the company?
That's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, and given the parties have already agreed to stipulate to the admission, Exhibits 1 through 3 are admitted. Why don't we just call Mr. Evergam since before we move on, if that's okay, Mr. Quinn?
Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Evergam, are you with us here now on video or? Or on phone? There you
I still have him as on the phone.
go. Mr. Evergame, are you with us? All right, why don't we move on to OPC and we'll come back to Mr. Evergame. Mr. Cleaver?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. OPC would ask that the direct testimony of its witness, Brendan Larkin Connolly, that's BRENDANLARKIN-CONNOLLY, filed on May 4th, 2021, and this matter be marked as OPC Exhibit 1.
It will be so marked.
And OPC would also ask that the supplemental testimony of Mr. Larkin Connolly filed in this case on August 10th, 2021 be marked as OPC Exhibit 2.
It will be so marked. And again, since the parties are stipulating to the entry of the testimony, OPC 1 and 2 are admitted. Why don't we go to staff?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Morning, Your Honor. Staff filed 3 sets of testimony in support of the settlement. And we would like to ask that the testimony of Adesina Jaola be marked and admitted as Staff Exhibit 1 in support of the testimony.
It'll be so marked.
That the settlement testimony of Mark Riley be admitted into evidence in support of the testimony and marked, identified as Exhibit 2 and admitted into evidence.
It'll be so marked.
Those parties also filed direct testimony, and we would ask that the direct testimony of Adesina Jaola be marked as Staff Exhibit 3.
Okay.
And the direct testimony of Mr. Riley be marked as Staff Exhibit 4.
Okay. Those will be so marked. Did you want to mark Ms. Howers as well?
I do. Ms. Howard also filed testimony, settlement testimony in support of the settlement, and we would ask that that be marked as Exhibit 5.
Okay, it'll be so marked.
And that she filed direct testimony, and we would ask that be marked as Staff Exhibit 6. It's my
Go ahead, ma'am.
and that they both be admitted into evidence, if I didn't add.
Okay. They will be, her direct testimony will be marked as Exhibit 6 for identification. And again, as all the parties have stipulated, Staff Exhibits 1 through 6 are admitted.
Now, Ms. Howard is here because it's my understanding, Your Honor, that you have some questions for her. Do you want me to walk her through her testimony or just ask her questions?
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, that's good.
Mr. Evergame, are you with us, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, I am back on.
Okay. All right. I just had a couple clarifying questions. And I guess, can I get you to raise your right hand, sir?
Yes, I am. Raise my right hand.
All right, I'll trust you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give under the penalties of perjury shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you, sir. Just a couple clarifying questions. Given that this, I know the plan was styled as a 3-year plan, but by the time it's approved, it's really going to be probably about 2 years and 4 months. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay. Now, does the company foresee any issues with at least the projects it's planning on beginning the 3 projects in 2021? Does the company foresee any issues with its timeline on those 3 projects, sir?
No, we do not. We have the staff available and operational capabilities to take care of those 3 projects this year.
Okay. And it's my understanding that those have not yet started. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my understanding as well. Yes.
Okay. All right. And since this since this plan is probably not going to be approved until probably at the earliest late August, early September, is Elkton still planning on filing an initial kind of status report on November 1st, 2021? That's how I read the settlement. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Yes, we are. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We realize, and we've talked in settlement, the parties realize that there may be, only a couple months of activity at that point, but yes, we are still planning on making that filing. That is correct.
Okay. And that's really the only questions I had. Thank you, Mr. Quinn, for making Mr. Evergam available. Thank you, sir. Do any of the parties have any questions for Mr. Evergam based on mine?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. All right,
Staff.
hearing none. All right, thank you. Hearing none, Mr. Evergam is excused. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, Ms. Hauer, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, ma'am. Can I get you to raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I just had a couple questions, and this could just be my misunderstanding. It's probably what it is. If you could go to page 7 of your settlement testimony, ma'am.
Yep, I'm there.
Okay. In table 2 at the bottom, which is the year-over-year average monthly bill impact per customer class using settlement, and it references Exhibit B. So 2021, that represents the stride surcharge, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So is it this in 2022 and 2023? Is that also the anticipated surcharges for those years?
No. So it's year over year. So it's comparing 2022 to 2021, 2023 to 2022. So it's the increase that they're going to be experiencing in the next year, if that makes sense.
It does now. So, okay. So yeah, that really helps me because the effective stride charges that were set forth in the settlement, it looks like it's for 2021 again for for 2022 for the residential class, it's $1.69, which is $1.08 plus the 61 cents. And I'm looking at, I'm sorry, ma'am, it's Exhibit B to the settlement. The effective stride surcharge. This makes a lot more sense now. So I just probably misunderstood.
Yeah, I struggled with what to call that table, so I'm glad that you asked that. But yes, so effectively,
I think you're actually just being nice, but okay. It makes more sense now, but okay. So, and then it hit the cap in 2023
yes.
for the residential. All right. That makes a lot more sense to me now. And it's also my understanding that the surcharge can continue into 2024, but that will only be reflective of projects that are completed by December of 2023. Is that correct? Absent a force majeure event.
Yes, that is my understanding.
Okay. All right. That makes a lot more sense, Ms. Hauer. I appreciate your time, and I apologize for making you appear just for that question. But I was struggling making heads or tails of that with the surcharges, but it makes sense now. I should have just done the addition, I guess. So,
No worries. Thank you.
do any of the parties have any questions for Ms. Hauer based on mine?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Hearing none, you're excused, ma'am. All right. Anything else before we conclude today? Oh, you know what? I do have something. Is it fair to say that the parties would request a shortened appeal period?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. I know the statute permits 7 days, but the commission practice is really to limit, go no lower than 14. So unless there's an objection, we can shorten it to 14 days. And I can try and get the order done as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. All right. Anything else before we sign off?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your Friday the 13th, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.
Great weekend. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're off the record.
You're off the record.